Hello friends, I'm Gajanan and today we will discuss about the codes of federal regulations. So first one is the section 310.305 records and reports concerning adverse drug experiences on marketed prescription drugs for human use without approved new drug applications. It consists the adverse drug experiences. Any adverse event associated with the use of a drug in humans, whether or not the following an adverse event occurring in the occurs course of the use of a drug product in a professional practice, an adverse event occurring from drug overdose, whether accidental or intentional, an adverse event occurring from drug adverse event abuse, occurring from drug withdrawal, and any failure of expected pharmacological action. Next one is a disability, a substantial distribution of a person's ability to conduct normal life functions. Individual Case Safety Report ICSR, a description of an adverse drug experiences related to an individual patient or subject. ICSR attachments documents related to the adverse drug experiences described in an ICSR, such as medical records, hospital discharge, summaries, or other documentation. Life threatening adverse drug experiences, any adverse drug experience that places the patient at immediate risk of death from the adverse drug experience as it occurred. That is, it does not include it occurred in a more severe form might have caused death. Then serious adverse experience, when based upon appropriate medical judgment that may jeopardize the patient or subject, it may require medical or surgical intervention to prevent one of the outcomes listed in this definition. Example of such medicinal events include allergic bronchospasm requiring intensive treatment in an emergency room or at home. Next CFR code is 312. It is an investigational new drug application INDA. General provisions. This part contains procedures and requirements governing the use of investigational new drugs, including procedures and requirements for the submission to and review by the Food and Drug Administration of review. Investigational new drug applications and investigational new drug for which an IND is in effect in accordance with his part in exempt from the pre-marketing approval requirements that are otherwise applicable and may be shipped lawfully for the purpose of conducting clinical investigations of that drug. Then applicability, except as provided in this section, this part applies to all clinical investigations of products that are subject to section 505 of the Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, or to the licensing provisions of the Public Health Services Act 58 Stat 621 as Amendment 42 USG 201. The clinical investigation of a drug product that is lawfully marketed in the United States is exempt from the requirements of this part if all the following apply. The investigation is not intended to be reported to FDA as well as control study in support of a new indication for use not intended to be used support any other significant change in the labeling for the drug. If the drug that is understanding investigations lawfully marketed as a prescription drug product, the investigation is not intended to support significant change in the advertising for the product. A clinical investigation involving an in vitro diagnostic biological product listed in paragraph of this section is exempt from the requirements of this part if it is intended to be used in a diagnostic procedure that confirms the diagnosis made by another medically established diagnostic product for or procedure, and it is shipped in compliance with 312.160. Clinical investigation means an experiment in which a drug is administered, dispensed to or used involving one or more human subjects for the purposes of this part. An experiment is any use of a drug except for the use of a marketed drug in course of medical practice. Next part 314 in CFR, the applications of FDA approval to market a new drug. General provisions. This part sets forth procedures and requirements for the submission to and review by the Food and Drug Administration of applications and abbreviated applications to market to new drug under Section 505, the Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, as well as amendment, supplements and post-marketing reports to them. This part does not apply to drug products subject to licensing by FDA under the Public Health Services Act 58 Stat 632 as amended. The purpose of this part is establish an efficient and thorough drug review processes in order to facilitate the approval of drugs shown to be safe and effective, and B, ensure the disapproval of drugs not shown to be safe and effective. These regulations are also intended to establish an effective system for FDA's surveillance of marketed drugs. These regulations shall be constructed light of these objectives. It includes the exclusivity period, application, then abbreviated application, new drug application or AND, then acknowledgement, then active ingredient, then active moiety, ANDA holder, applicant, application, new drug application or ANDA, approval letter, access the effects of the change, and authorized generic drug, then bioavailability, bioequivalence, then bioequivalence requirement, class 1 resubmission, class 2 resubmission, commercial marketing, complete response letter, component, date of approval, dosage form, drug product, drug substance, efficacy supplement, FDA or agency. Next section or part in 600.80, post-marketing reporting of adverse experiences. Product of human, whether or considered product related, including the following: an adverse event occurring in the course of the use of biological product in professional practices, an adverse event occurring from overdose of the product, whether accidental or international, an adverse event occurring from abuse of the product, an adverse event occurring from the withdrawal of the product at any failure or expected pharmacological actions. It includes blood components, life-threatening experiences, then disability, then blood components, serious adverse experiences, unexpected adverse experiences, review of adverse experiences, post-marketing alert reports in 15 days. Next part is 600.81, distribution reports. Reporting requirements: the applicant must submit to the Center of Biologics Evaluation and Research or the Center of Drug Evaluation and Research information about the quantity the product distributed under the biologics license, including the quantity distributed to distributors, the Interval between distribution reports must be 6 months. Upon right notice, FDA may more that the applicant submit distribution reports under the section at times other than every 6 months. Distribution report must consist of the bulk lot number. It contains electronic format for except as provided for in paragraph of this section. The distributed reports under paragraphs of this section must be submitted at the agency is an electronic format that FDA can process, review and archive FDA then waivers. An applicant may request in writing temporary waiver of the requirements paragraph of this section. So friends, this is the sections of ECFR. Thank you.